Howdy, y'all. Welcome to Archeryshack Shop Talk number 146. I'm Jeremy.
I'm TJ.
And we just got in the prime. I still don't know how you properly say it. I've heard Revex.
I think it's Revex.
Okay.
I think.
And then, we're a bunch of rednecks.
Yeah.
And it came from up north. So maybe to them it's the Revex and to us it's supposed to be the Revex. But I think Revex is it. I don't know.
I don't either.
But we got in our sample. It's pretty badass.
Yeah. It is.
So, here's what we can tell you all about it. It'll be a week or two before we do like a full-blown review.
Mm-hmm.
We did a quick little first look video. It's already got a bunch of views. We got in the 4. So, I guess, I don't know if I should call it a misunderstanding or... Basically, each boat company comes out with like a preview pack.
Mm-hmm.
So we ordered 2 of them, and that's supposed to be here the day of or before they release for us to let customers. We still pay for them just like we do every bow, but it's basically saying, hey, we know we're going to have this many bows, 1 of each, but we ordered 2 packs, so 2 of each the day of the release. Well, the day of the release came, we didn't have no bows. We didn't get them until 2 or 3 days later, which is not a huge deal, but it does suck because people were calling asking, hey, can I come shoot it? Nope. But they also didn't send any modules to any dealer, so all we got is a 4 and a 29 right now.
Yeah.
Still not a huge deal, but again, like today, a guy would have probably liked to shot a longer one, and we won't go all down that road, but it's like, back to my point that I've said probably year after year, of every bow company, please don't release a bow until everything's ready and you can ship it all.
Yeah.
Because here we sit with parts and pieces. But anyway,
as
far as shooting the bow, we shot, the rep came with his 60-pounder, shot it. Ours are 70-pounders. From what we can tell so far, think of the inline if you shot it, minus the steep hump at the beginning of the draw.
Yep.
And maybe add a few feet per second from what we can tell. But we don't have a 30-inch to kind of check IBO speed, so I don't know. I know that 62 with a 350 grain arrow and 29-inch draw shot, what was it, about 300 feet per second?
300, 310. Yeah. I know the 400 was right at either the 350 or the 400 grain was right at 300 feet per second, dead nut.
So I'll be curious to see what like a 70 on 30 with a 350 shoots.
Yeah.
They're rating it at what, 340? Or I can't remember.
I've got the specs pulled up. This is how bad, this is how new it is to us. We don't even have a pamphlet to know any specs. The Revex 2 is a 32-inch axle-to-axle bow, 338 speed, IBO, 6 1/4 brace height. Draw lengths are 26 to 30, 4.5 pound mass weight. And your peak weight's at, 40 to 80 pounds. But that's like a 40-pound max bow, a 50-pound max, 60, It's not adjustable from 40 to 80 pounds on that one set of limbs.
Right.
The Revex 4, 34 axle to axle, 340 IBO, 6 1/4 brace height, 26.5 to 30.5 inch draw length, 4.6 pounds on the weight. And the 6 is a 36-inch axle to axle, 330 IBO, 6 3/4 brace height, 27.5 to 31.5 inch draw lengths, and 4.7 pounds.
I am excited the 6 is not the typical 6-inch brace height. I'm glad they added a little bit of brace height to it.
Yeah.
But we hadn't seen her shot one, but I'm sure it'll shoot great. I will say so far everybody that shot our demo one has loved it.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a big deal. They went to a module system on the cam to help with basically knock travel at all draw lengths, because a lot of bows that'll adjust, just for instance, they may have their draw. Let's just say you take a bow that'll go from like 26 to 31. Well, somewhere in there is like the peak performance. So let's say 28 to 29.5 is where you're going to get your best bang for your buck as far as performance of the bow. But as you get longer or shorter, you're losing somewhere. Well, supposedly with these modules, it's helping them to get more goodness out of each draw length versus it just rotating because of the way it's designed and all this stuff. So you change it without a press. It's got a built-in cable stop.
Yep.
It comes, well, we hadn't got our kit, but from what we understand, they're going to come with like a felt on them so it don't click when it hits the cable.
Yeah.
But we were told it's running about 82% let off like it sits. I'm going to imagine if you were to take that felt off, you're going to get 2 or 3% more let off. So that might be an option, especially for like, I'm going to get a 6 and shoot tournaments with it. I may take that felt off and just see what it feels like, or I may build that felt up to give it less let off.
Yeah.
It's got the new mount for the quiver that they've teamed up with Tight Spot. That's going to be neat.
Yeah,
And
I'm interested to see that quiver.
it's got the new back bar mount instead of having to mount it inside the riser, which was everybody was like, this won't fit. And it's like, no, you got to mount it different.
Yeah.
They fixed that, and they made the solid
String stop.
Yep, without the drum in the middle.
Yeah.
So
I really think that, I really think that helped out on some noise right there just by itself. Stilled air gel grip.
Yep.
They did tweak the cams a little bit from what I can tell. What is it, the core cam? Is that what they're calling them?
I can't remember.
I can't either. I think it's core cam. I could be wrong. But from the one that, the 4 that I've shot, it doesn't stack up as quick as the inline, and it doesn't have a harsh dump over at the back when you hit the wall.
Yeah.
And everybody seems to like that. It's more just a constant, a constant pull to the back wall.
So far, good feedback.
Yeah.
Real good feedback. So if you're not local, or if you're local, come shoot one. I'm just curious right now to see everybody's opinion when they shoot it. And if you're not local, go find you a local dealer and fire one off. I'm hoping they said roughly the end of next week, maybe we'll get our 32-inch bows that we initially ordered, and then maybe the next week or the week after we'd get our 6s. So I'm hoping they come on in.
Yeah.
And at that point, we'll probably start making some more in-depth videos, and we'll have a little more time like playing with them. But basically, we set ours up dead down the middle and level, and it bullet holes, and it does everything you want it to do, at least at 29. So the inline had a weird twerk that it wanted some knock high stuff, so I'm glad that went away. That was not fun to deal with sometimes, and it would give you a tail low tear if you didn't tweak some of the stuff. Not a huge deal, but I don't know, it was just different. We had to figure that out pretty quick.
The shims, which most people are not going to shim it, but they still use the same shims from the inline series of bows.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of what else on that bow. New camo, that Ridge Rock scar looks good.
They switched out a First Light camo from...
They did away with Fusion, which kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. But
honestly, and that was one of the ones when we had that color on a bow, people kind of jumped on.
Yeah.
But I don't, to my knowledge, and like TJ said, we don't have any information on this bow. They just shipped us a bow, and we're basically like here. But I don't think they added any target colors to my knowledge. I think it's the same from last year. I think.
I don't know either. I didn't even think to look while I had it pulled up.
But good. It's going to be a good seller. It's going to be a good shooting bow. I want to get a 6 in to start kind of playing with for 3D season coming up here in about a month. And then...
and they did partner with Hampski to create a new mount, from what I can understand.
Well, it's basically just a Epsilon rest with a prime stamp on the back of it and a little bit different bracket. There's nothing too major. Again, we were supposed to get one of those with our preview packs. I don't know when it's coming, and the quivers we're supposed to. I hadn't seen that yet.
Yeah.
I don't know what the price. They hadn't even told us. We had to look on the website to see what MSRP is for the bow, because we don't even know what these bows are supposed to sell for. But I'm not trying to like...
Well, yeah, we're not knocking them or anything.
It's just like...
It was a weird deal because, we had already had a release date, and then
they bumped it about 2 weeks.
They bumped it 2 weeks, and then it's like, okay, here we go kind of deal.
But anyway, I'm just glad we finally got one in our hands, even though it was a little late. And then people have been able to shoot it and people's liked it, and now we're just playing that waiting game of how long will it be till we can get something to sell.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would say definitely we've already got people that's like put money on them and said, I want this when it comes in type thing.
Yeah.
We just don't know how long that'll be. I mean, it won't be like 6 months or anything, but
No, it's just always, I don't know how other bow companies are, but you release the bow, we put in, we go ahead and try to order some bows, but it seems like it takes a month and a half to get bows.
PSE used to make me so mad because they would do the same. I'd get whatever 5 preview bows, one of each they were coming out with. People get excited. I'd usually sell them, and then it might be 2 or 3 months before I could get another one. And it's like, man,
Yeah.
I go back to saying, I wish bow companies, instead of coming out with crap every year, give it 2 years, whatever, but have the stuff ready to ship when when you come out with it. And I still say, now is not the time to come out in the middle of hunting season. Is an awful time to come out with new bows.
Yeah.
But that's not going to change, I guess. So
No, I don't think.
wait till after hunting season. But that's all a thing of when it used to be that way. I guess that's a thing of the past.
Well, didn't some people release like right before hunting season? Because I was wanting to say, when we was at Bucks and Bass, we'd always get like a new demo bow right kind of at the very beginning of like October.
PSC, I feel like, was the one that drug everybody into this boat, because Matthews and everybody back then would be ATA show. Everybody, January, that was perfect, Because what is a shop, now we have people coming in. I thought you sold me the newest bow a month ago. Well, we did a month ago, and it was a 2022 or whatever. Now we got 2023s, and we only got so many of them. But anyway, I think this will be one of their better selling bows.
I do too.
And I think that quiver, we had a little bit of doings with the old quiver. I don't remember what they called it.
The Sherpa.
And our experience with it, it was just a little bit of a bulky quiver.
Mm-hmm.
And what basically ruined it for me was we had a guy come in 2 years ago, wanted one. We order it. Would it take 4 months to get it?
Yeah.
They called, and we called the factory, and it went back and forth and back and forth. I'm sure then people thought, there's no way these people ordered this for us, but we did.
Mm-hmm.
And out of the blue, 4 months later, this thing shows up. So we were like, hell with this. And it was actually, might have been 2019, because it was before COVID.
It was what year? It had to be the Logic series when
Probably.
They come out with that Coyote tan.
Yeah,
that
that's
Yodi,
right. That's right.
That was probably one of the ugliest colors I've seen. It was rough.
But yeah, so we just kind of said, hell with this quiver. But I think now maybe that Tight Spot's making them, maybe they can get them out and ship them quicker. And I'm just going to guess it's going to sell for around $200. But again, we have no idea. And I wonder, like that Hampsky, what is the Epsilon? 240, 250, I think, what we sell it for?
I think 250.
I'm sure it's going to be a few more bucks with this prime stuff on it. So we'll see.
Well, the Sherpa quiver, it was just the way it mounted. If you look, there's a little triangle cutout in the riser of the primes. And basically it had this adapter that you put in there, and it had it was either 2 or 3 ball bearings that when you tighten the screw up, it would expand the ball bearings and it would hold it. And then you just loosen it and it would pop off. I think Hoyt's got something similar. I mean, all bow companies have their own quiver, but just different ways it attaches. From what I can remember, the rep saying that it's going to be able to adjust left and right and up and down on the bracket, so that'll be pretty neat.
So they've got it on their website, but they don't have a price. They've got it and the quiver. I was just looking to see if we had an idea, but hopefully in the next week or two we'll know something. I'm going to look at the quiver. I'm sure it ain't. Shift lock quiver. Yeah, no price, so we'll see. But I do think that quiver is going to be one, like, if you're going to hunt with this bow, you might want to get that quiver because it looks sharp.
Mm-hmm.
It looks and it fits close to the bow like the Tight Spots do, so it's got that new little mount. It'll be cool. The one thing that I wish would have happened was, what just happened there? Oh, a breaker flipped.
Breaker trip.
Wonder why.
I don't know.
That was weird. I wish they would have put that new Hamskea core mount or whatever on this bow. Supposedly Hamskea's coming out with a new, or they're wanting everybody to start drilling the back of the riser to where you don't have that little arm coming up the side of the riser to mount your bolt to. It just mounts straight to the back, similar to what Matthews has done, but it's not what Matthews has done. So basically, Hamskea said, we're wanting people to start doing this. It'll save air arrest companies money. It'll save consumers money. It'll save weight off the bow. They said, we're not doing any kind of patent on this thing. We're just trying to get everybody to go to it. And we think we've got all these companies that are going to start doing it. But Prime, we lost signal on that too. It's weird.
Yeah.
Prime hadn't done it yet, and I don't know who is and who's not, or how long that'll take. But I was kind of looking forward to that. But it's okay.
Yeah.
That was weird. We flipped the breaker, but all this is still on, so.
Yeah, it's weird. Well, that's the one that the air compressor and everything's on.
Gotcha.
In the back, I think, but the heater's off.
Let's see. We're early December. We got our Christmas backdrop up.
Yep.
Look at that thing. I'm waiting for Santa to walk out.
Yeah.
We've started seeing a few people buying bows and stuff for Christmas presents and all that. And, of course, if you're local or even if you're not local, we got a lot of bear stuff that'll fit ladies and kids and men and everybody. So let us know. I did the Adapt video a couple weeks ago, and I in that kind of mentioned if you need a bow, click this link and fill out the form, and we'll kind of go back and forth and get with you. That's actually been successful. So basically, if you go to like archeryshack.com, and I think at the top it says something about buy a bow or something, but it just asks you, like, you know, basically what you're looking for and this sort of thing. And a lot of people on that Adapt video filled it out, and then we've hooked up some people, so that's pretty cool.
Yep.
On the bear bows, we're doing like we're leaving the cables like they are, but we're putting one of our strings on it, so you can put a regular peep with no rubber tubing, and that way you don't have all that crazy peep problem. And we can ship most of the bear bows, so not the primes, but not the high end Legend Series bears, but like the legits and the Adapts and all that we can ship. So let us know. Yep.
Trying to think of what else. Elite's coming out with a carbon bow on the 6th.
That'll be. I'm surprised. In a way, more companies hadn't. Which I guess, you know, Bowtech's got a carbon now, and a high-end carbon. Hoyt's always had it. PSE's had it for a while. Elite. I've heard Matthews basically say no go because they couldn't get enough vibration out of it because it was so light. But that's the thing. I seen the specs. Is it the Bowtech? They're like the same weight
as an aluminum bow.
So I guess the benefit at that point would just be it's not cold in your hand and the carbon's stiff. But I just don't know. I feel like at first it was like we're shaving a pound plus off of these bows, and now that's not happening. So I don't know that, other than like it being a super stiff riser versus some of these metals, I don't know that there's a big benefit.
I don't know either. Because I know the whole thing with carbon is, you know, cutting the weight. I think PSE's is probably the lighter of the carbon bows out there. Not much, maybe.
But it's also, I hadn't shot this year's, but it's got the most kind of jumpiness to it.
It does.
And that's what everybody's running into. Yeah, we can make a 3 pound or 3.5 pound bow, but it's jumping, you know, so I don't know what the answer is.
I don't either.
And then you got the junk carbon. Like we got one over here somewhere, a Martin something, and it's one of the China risers, and, you know, it came from the pawn shop, wherever it's at. But those are just blocky whatevers. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the carbon anymore. Because to use carbon, then you still got to put all them plates, like where the rest mounts and the sides, so, you know, so.
And you still got to run metal at the limb pockets or aluminum, I should say, of some sort.
I don't know.
I don't either. It just
runs the bill up another $500 or $600.
Yeah.
But then you got like Prime using the higher grade aluminum.
Yeah.
I do like that. I will say, if you hadn't seen, this is from years ago, Prime put out a video. They took an Elite riser and basically tried to pick the front end of a Jeep up and the riser just boop, crinkled, and they took a prime riser with this higher grade aluminum, and they picked the thing up and then shot it, and that was like, this is a good selling point.
It's a little bit that the aluminum they use it's stiffer, so I don't know if that might be why sometimes there's a little vibration in them. Is this just a little bit stiffer aluminum? I don't know, but I like it a little bit. I like this stiffer aluminum, just knowing that it's going to take a lot if that riser.
Well, and people think metal's metal, but I mean, like back in the day, really, there was a lot of bow presses. Companies would be like, don't press this bow with this press because it will warp the riser. And I've seen it a time or two. People brought them in and had like some homemade press and they warped their riser. And it's like, in my head, I'm like, man, how does, but I guess aluminum, the more I have done with everything, there's some pretty soft aluminums being used, you know, that you wouldn't think about, but it could warp.
Yeah. You don't see it as much as you used to.
Well, now there's so much. The way they got, even if it's not the prime, but the way they got some of these risers designed to really be stout, you know what I mean? So, I don't know.
All the cutouts. I mean, you know, there's an engineer out there making way more than me, and that has figured out that, hey, we can use a little bit softer aluminum, but make it as stout as we want to.
Yep. The Elite will be fun to look at.
Yep.
I feel like we would have heard more maybe from PSE or something about I don't know. I'm curious to see in January if anything comes out at the show.
Yeah.
Because there's it's a whole nother rigmarole. A lot of companies are not going this year all of a sudden. I think the ATA show, and I hate to say it, is kind of on its way out.
I do too.
Slowly. I think maybe we got a couple more years of it, but now that you've got several big bow companies that are just like, we ain't going, I think other people will follow suit. And it sucks because it's a good show to go to for us to see all the stuff in one place, talk to all the people. Like, we can talk to the man that designed the new prime bow or the Bowtech or the Elite or whatever, like face to face. Good deal. And that's going to kind of go away, I think. But
and plus,
it's just what it is, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think, and you know, normally they either alternate between Indianapolis or Louisville. I think if they would probably kind of maybe come a little bit further south, kind of meet in the middle somewhere. But I know they say that Indianapolis draws the most people because most of the shops are in the north, northeast, midwest. But I don't know. I just think with a lot of the big name bow companies not going, and a lot of big name companies, you know, backing out, it's...
Well, I mean, I don't blame them because numbers-wise, like, let's just take Prime or any of the other companies we deal with. We're putting all our orders in now, or like Bear was here October, the first week of October, and we put in our order for the whole next year, so that's done.
Mm-hmm.
Prime is almost done. All these companies, I don't know. I mean, why would you go spend the money they're spending for basically no reason? Everybody's ordered their bows. All the shops have ordered what they need to order other than a good face-to-face and heart-to-heart talk with people you talk to on the phone normally.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know Matthews said back when they didn't go before, they were saving $250,000 by not going. By the time they paid for all the booth, packed whoever up and all the stuff and got it there and got it back and all that. So I wouldn't... I don't blame them. I think if it was me, I think these companies should start, like, for example, what if a week before or even now, Prime said, hey, we're going to have a webinar just for our dealers and have it just to make sure only the dealers can get on there because you don't want this floating around everywhere probably. But, like, we're going to do a 1-hour training on this exact cam system we're coming out with, the perks, the minuses, how to adjust it, what to do if this happens, blah, 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 blah. Stuff like that is what I'm about, but nobody does it. Like, there's nothing. Like, it's just, we get it, each shop gets it, and we've got a circle of sort of shop friends, and one of them might say, hey, have you noticed on the Bowtech whatever that is running knock low to do this, that, and the other, or something like that. And then other people be like, matter of fact, I am. Well, here's what we're doing. Well, here's what we're doing. It's not. It just seems like none of the companies get with you after they get their order and run, I guess. But
yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just feel like if a company would say once a month we're going to do a training on something, and you can watch it afterwards or you can watch it during it or whatever, and just be like, all right, here's what we're seeing. Here's Mike's Archery in Idaho or wherever. They found out that if you do this, this will happen, or if you shoot this spine, this made it better. Just stuff like that would be super helpful to us, but you don't get that ever from any company. I don't really get that.
Well, and a lot of companies now, they have, most of them are part of I hate to say it, like
some big group,
like Elites with the outdoor group. PSE is what, Outtech?
No, well, PSE is still owned by, it's still an independent company. Their sales is through but and then Bowtech's owned by some conglomerate now that we don't even, some crazy company, but
but they have a rep for like
20 different products.
And, some of it we are interested in, some of it we're not. Some of it, might be related to like Do All Sports. They have a neat little saw that attaches to the front of an arrow that, you get up there, everybody's got an arrow. You can cut a limb if you have to. But they're geared more towards the, like gun side of it with the little, spinning targets and stuff like that. So we really don't get to look into that too much because we don't sell a lot of gun accessories or anything. But I wish, like a rep would say, okay, let's just take Prime, for example, our rep. He's with a company, but he's got probably 30 different companies that he represents. So he could bring in Prime, G5, Spot Hog. Who else am I missing? I'm missing a bunch of archery companies.
Yeah, I mean 10 Point,
AMS, bow fishing, boning.
Yep.
So bring, let's set up a day, either have, like you say, a webinar or a Zoom call or something, and just where he can say, okay, here's the new product, or have it, come to the shop, here's the new product. And a lot of companies are going, and that's why they're getting away from the show, is because some of these companies are doing that. And then some of them, they just, they seen from COVID years.
Yeah, that their numbers didn't change.
The numbers didn't change by going to the show.
So they're like, why go?
Why spend $500,000 on the booth and paying everybody to bring them to the show?
Yep.
And I had heard that from a bunch of people.
I think this year, other than, 2021 where they didn't have a show, I think they'll see that their sales don't change and they'll just be like, why fool with it?
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say this for the reps we know, but I've never even understood why to have a traveling rep.
Yeah.
Because half the time we still never see them, and then other half of the time I don't really know what more they're doing than what we could just call and have a phone call with the factory or email or whatever, to be honest, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't know, just common sense don't go far in the archery industry, it don't seem like, because it's just it's very simple stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have any information or pricing on these new bows, like common sense, or we don't even have a flyer that says here's the specs. I mean, we're learning more stuff off Facebook than we are from, and I ain't trying to really knock any company, but it's just like, damn, do you want us to sell these, or what's going on here? I don't know. But anyway, the ATA show will be coming up in about a month. It'll be cool. We'll try to do some videos. We did last year. We'll sit down, particularly me and TJ, we'll sit down and kind of go over some stuff, and I'll try to get some clips of some stuff, and then we'll figure out what's the easiest way. Like, if y'all, so the bad thing about the show is it's so big that there's things we will miss.
Mm-hmm.
But like last year, we had people texting us or emailing us or however we did it, saying, "Hey, I seen this on Facebook. Go to that booth and look at it." And we'd be like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So we'll figure out the easiest way to do that this year. And if y'all see something, if you keep up with us pretty closely and you see something, then we'll get a message through however we can figure out the easiest way and be like, so-and-so just said we need to go check this out. So we'll go check it out. Because this year in particular, almost all of our orders are already done for next year. So it may not be as much sitting down and ordering this year as it normally is.
Yeah.
And it may be more checking out new stuff and that sort of thing. So,
well, the biggest thing in years past that we have done that, looking back, I wish we wouldn't have done, is we stopped at every single booth.
yeah,
And I know these companies are trying to, sell product. They're salesmen and everything. Give me a flyer.
well, and it's like us, for example, we are strictly archery.
Yep.
So if we walk past, I don't even know, what's a good example? We walk past a booth that sells boots or something. We know basically there's no need for us to go over here.
Yep.
I have no intention of ever putting a boot in this shop. But sometimes they'll have those salesmen out there that'll basically, I hate to say block you, but funnel you into their booth, and you're just sitting there the whole time giving them the body language and the whatever of basically, I don't care, I'm just trying to go down this aisle, and it wastes 10 minutes or 15 or 20, and that takes forever. Last year though, we kind of powered by about everybody. We ain't trying to be buttholes, but like if we knew it was something we're not interested in messing with, have a good one. But
and we do, like the last couple of years, we've had a lot more interest in, like, do we carry rangefinders? Do we carry cell cam or trail cams at all? We try to look into that, but it's also one of them that on our end, we can't compete with the Walmart.
Well, and that's the other thing that kills me about
Sportsman
about
Academy.
companies. There'll be, and there's certain companies we already know of, but like Bow Cases is a good example.
Yep.
We can order directly from the manufacturer in a fairly big quantity, in the dozens. I consider that a fairly big for us or for whoever. And it will be literally $16 to $18 more what we pay for it than I could go an hour up the road to the Cabela's and buy it during hunting season.
Yeah.
And you tell these companies, like, why are you selling me this for this price? We mark it up 20%, not making much money, and then we're going to be like $30 over what the box store or eBay or Amazon or whatever is going to be. Like, we're not fooling with it.
Yeah.
Why would we even think about this? Like, the whole business model is just like, and why are they even at the show trying to sell those at dealer cost to people? I don't get it.
I don't either. But so we do try to look at things, but we get caught up by some, I got caught by, who was it last year? I got caught by the seasoning people.
Yep.
I
know who you're talking about.
I can't think of the name of it. Great people. Now, don't get me wrong, but we're not going to sell beef jerky out here.
Right.
I had like a 15-minute conversation, and I'm like,
well, and the whole time we're trying to get away, and it's obvious we're trying to get away.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there talking like they've known us their whole life, and it's like, please, for the love of God, we're trying to get away from you. And then I remember I got caught by, who was it? It was, and I hate to say it, a couple of the companies there is like, I just want to tell them this is the stupidest design product. It'll be out of somebody's backyard shop type thing. We got this stabilizer quiver light bow fishing mount or something, and it's like, this thing looks like it's been duct taped together and whatever, and it's like, what are you doing here? But I got caught by one of those guys, and I was just thinking, my God.
We're not knocking your product or anything like that, but
if we know we're not going to sell it,
we need, and that's just the thing. So we do try to look at like Tacticam,
Well, a big part of the experience for us is looking for new stuff. But like the one of my favorites was the Buck's Good. They had this big TV set up, and they dragged me in there. You ever heard of the Buck's Good? And I'm like, what in the hell is this? And it was a damn missile of a tip that you fill it with deer piss and shoot this son of a bitch over the area you hunting. And they had a slow motion video of this thing just spraying pee out as it went. And old George Riles, I think it was, he made a funny post about it and was like, exactly what I want first thing in the morning, to be splattered in the face with doe piss. And sure enough, the thing's like, I guess, blasting people as it takes off out of the bow with whatever, you know. And it's like, I like physically laughed though when I seen that video, because it looked like a damn F-16 going across the field and then blowing out deer piss. I was like, what is this? You'll never find that arrow.
Yeah. And
then this thing's going to hammer you in the face with deer pee. But, I mean, to each their own. I don't think they lasted but about a year. And I mean, I understand the theory behind it. But
and it's a good idea. I can understand.
But, like, I don't want to launch one of my arrows and get covered in deer pee and all the, like, God almighty.
I don't.
There was a quiver one year that had a damn arm that detached out of it, and the guy was like, you ever seen this before? And I was like, what is it? And he holds it. He said, hold this bow. And I held it, and he untwists about 27 knobs and goes, and he says, now you ain't got to hold your bow up. And I was like, holy hell, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. And it had stickers and shit all over it, and I was just like, my God. But anyway, stuff like that is just like, why are you even here?
Yeah.
And it looks so rinky-dink. You know what I mean? Like, maybe if he had somebody redesign it, I don't know, but even then, but.
And plus, we also look for companies that are not like like a stabilizer. Yeah, we can get all the big name brand of stabilizers, but there's also, you get somebody that you don't like, Bowfinger. You don't hear a lot about Bowfinger.
Yeah.
But they've got some really good stuff.
Yep.
But, you know, you could get, you know, we're trying to look for stabilizers. Let's just use that for an example. So we try to look for the best that, you know, looks good, feels good. I mean, let's just face it, anybody can build a stabilizer. But how you build it and how you put it together, the machining you do on your ends and everything, you know, it goes a long way. But, I mean, pretty much there's some I'm like, this don't even look like a stabilizer.
Yeah, I mean, it's some rinky-dink stuff going on.
But we also try to look for smaller companies that's not, you know, who was it that we picked up that was, nobody really heard of it, but we picked a few things up from them, and they actually were really, Schaefer?
No, they've been around for a while.
Schaefer's been around. Who was it?
And Schaefer's one of the companies you don't hear a lot about, but they make some nice stuff. They make a real lightweight sight that I like, and we still got some of the rest, but yeah, and then I don't know. It's just
camo clothing. We're not going to carry camo clothing, and you get.
Sometimes I don't even understand why they're there, and I know there's big buyers there from like Academy and Bass Pro, but I would like to think somebody that big, they could just take to the factory for a day or half a day and do their thing. But for the most part, it's regular shops, and they're not going to order $25,000 of camo clothing. You know what I mean? Like,
and I mean, there are a lot of archery shops out there that carry guns and camo clothing, and you know, it's a full outdoor store. It's just that I don't, you know, depending on what part of the country they're in, I just know from what I've seen here in our general area, if you can't compete with Walmart on stuff, there's no sense in us putting it in the shop, because it'll sit here for 10 years unless me and Jeremy say, okay, we're just going to have to bite the bullet and let's use it kind of deal.
I'll give this example. This broadhead company rep came through 2015, I think it was, and he was like, he showed me their broadheads. He said, I guarantee these will never be in a box store, wholesale pitch, American made. I was like, hell with it. Because to me, I do appreciate they don't even necessarily have to come to this shop, but I appreciate people that check in on us as far as these companies go.
Yep.
And that sort of thing. And this guy's like, he went out of his way to come here. And so I ordered like about $1,800 worth, something like that. It wasn't 2 months, and I seen them in Academy and here, there, and yonder for way cheaper than what MAP was supposed to be, our lowest price we were supposed to sell them for. I remember I called and raised hell, and basically we got rid of them and never fooled with them again. But, like, I don't know. Some of these companies prioritize, they don't give a damn. They'll sell to Walmart or whatever, and then from what I hear, Walmart beats you up on the price, and then they'll just do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
So, but like TJ said, if it's something like that, we might as well not even fool with it.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, the company, it don't work out because they can't sell it for as cheap as Walmart's hollering they got to get it for, and then it's just a big no-win situation for anybody.
Yep.
So I don't know what the answer is to all that.
Well, I mean, we talk about bucks and bass all the time. How long did all that camo clothing stay on them shelves? Till the day that it closed, as far as I know.
Yep. I remember a lot of stuff. Lord.
Grunt call, like turkey call. I mean,
basically
calls.
Stuff you could go 3 miles down the road and get from Walmart for cheaper. And it wasn't that we were, or that people that own Bucks and Bass were price gouging. It was just the little man cannot buy it for what Walmart can buy it for, or whatever. And that's where you kind of draw the line of, I don't know. It's just like, I think it was the Bear Royale. Somebody mentioned to me it was on like Amazon for cheaper. I can't compete with whatever it is, but I can also say we're going to actually set it up for you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I just wish some of these companies could police some of that better, because like basically we buy a bow, they say you cannot sell it for lower than this.
Yep.
And we play by those rules. But then when they're on Amazon for lower than that, it's like, well, where in the hell did this come from?
Yeah.
We got to play by the rules, but some random whatever on Amazon don't. And that gets into a whole nother can of worms as far as shops go. But and that's really been the past 10 years a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
And
we try to, there's one in particular that pretty much we've got, like I said, shop friends from, pretty much southeast, north, up in the north and everything, are selling stuff on Amazon and everything way cheaper. And
what happens is the shop says, oh, I'll buy a lot of these, get a better deal, but then they don't sell, and then they dump them on wherever for cheaper. Some companies will bust them. As far as I know, Matthews is the absolute best at that.
Yeah.
They've got all the softwares and the this and the that. If a shop lists a Matthews bow online, they're going to get their ass in trouble.
Yep.
But other companies, that's what used to kill me when we really were heavy into PSE. A PSE would come out, I'd order them. It wouldn't be 6 months, and they'd be online cheaper than what I paid for them as a shop for sale. And it's like, how is this even happening? I mean, this is ridiculous. So it was just,
but
certain brands don't give a shit. Certain do, and certain really do. But
the one I'm thinking about, literally, it was sold by them online.
Yep.
And was way, under MAP, straight from the company. So they're breaking their own rules right there. And I remember a lot of shops got together and wrote emails, sent letters and everything. And pretty much the company just sent back and said, we own this product. We'll do what we want to do.
And then the next year, all them shops said, good luck, we're not ordering anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what I guess it takes, is enough of that to happen for them to say, oh God, we're going to lose a lot of our business. We better not, I don't know.
But there again, how they're going to lose business whenever they're selling it online cheaper than that you can walk into your local shop and try to support that local shop.
Yep.
And which end up shops going to charge you to put it on anyway. So,
well, I hate to say it, but archery shops are going to keep on becoming few and far in between because of stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the man that walks in here that's bought a bow package off the internet, and we charge him to set it up, and he gets pissed off or whatever. And it's like, I mean, I don't understand. Are we supposed to do this for free? If you'd have bought it from here for about the same, basically the same price, you'd have got it for free or included. I just think it's just, a lot of people are working on their own stuff, which I think is good, at least to a certain extent. And then, more and more companies will sell certain things to the public, and then it's just kind of weeding out the shops. So it just is what it is. But at the same time, you got some still stuck. We got a guy not far from us stuck in the 80s and 90s, that don't even take a debit card or credit card. Mm-hmm. That you can't expect for that to work out too well.
Yeah.
So
you've got to change with the times.
You do.
And it's just, you've got to learn how to adjust. It's crazy. If you would have told me Bucks and Bass days, this is how it was going to be 20 years later, I would have probably looked and laughed at you. I wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see what kind of new accessories are out and stuff like that. We done seen the bows. I don't think a lot of accessory companies are coming out with new stuff this year. I know Spot Hog just.
Yeah, I asked about Spot Hog. He said nothing new. So.
Well, they did do the rail.
Oh yeah. And that's the weird thing lately. Like last year, a bunch of companies were 6, 9, and 12 months behind. But like, how long will that last until it's like, all right? And I kind of feel like, I hate to say this, that Spot Hog is at that point. They've had the same stuff for basically several years.
Yeah.
It's probably time to release something new.
Yeah.
Because how long are they going? They're basically caught up. Mm-hmm. So now it's like, oh, you don't have anything new? Well, we'll go to XYZ company. But a lot of the Excel stuff that was ordered in January, I seen shops finally getting literally a week or two ago.
Yeah.
And we were going to order, and when they told us whatever 6 to 9 months ship time, we were like, cancel that.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
It is. And I don't know what to expect going into the show.
Well, and we'll talk more about it. Like, we got a month before we leave, a little over a month, and then we'll let y'all know if you keep up with us semi-regularly. We'll do some live stuff, and we'll record some interesting products and all that sort of thing, or whatever y'all want to see, because last year I think we went live a time or two, and it went good, and then people were sending us messages, hey, don't forget to look at this and that and the other, and we did. So we'll do the same thing.
And it's one of them you don't never know, because Bayer kind of had the digital react up their sleeve when we didn't know about it.
We didn't hear. I'll give them that. We didn't hear nothing.
No,
and it was like, ta-da.
Yeah, I'm
sure there'll be some of those products.
Yeah, there's going to be something, and it may not be from Bayer. It may be from Elite or somebody like, I don't know, but we're going to have a surprise probably.
If something. But anyway, we just kind of rambled on.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all if you're still watching. But I've been sick for like a month. I got sick. I got a little bit better. Got sick again. TJ got sick and was out Thanksgiving week. Mm-hmm. We ended up just closing down the shop for like 4 days for everybody to try to get better. We're still sniffling and snotting.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all have had this. I've talked to or seen where other people in other parts of the country had the same thing. They said it wasn't COVID, it's not flu, so what is it? And my wife's got it, everybody's got it. It's like, good God, and everybody's been sick for a month, but I'm about tired of this.
Yeah, I'm ready to get back to normal.
Supposedly, or hopefully we're feeling or getting a little better here, but we've had that going on. We had a good Thanksgiving, and then, sick Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then we'll get through Christmas. Second week, I think it is ATA show in Indy. We'll fly up there and then look at everything. And then after that, by then we'll definitely have a bunch of the prime bows and this, that, and the other. We got our big shot targets in.
Yep.
We got most of our bear stuff, trophy rich stuff. We'll be getting our G5 and prime stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's all panning out. But
Yep.
y'all just let us know if you need anything or got any questions. And as we get closer, we kind of use y'all to guide us on, hey, I heard this come out, go look at it type stuff at the show. So we will most definitely do it.
Yep, we'll do it.
But I guess that'll do it for this one. We're just chatting along. But the new prime bow, I know I'm going to probably title this thing something about talking about the prime bows, and everybody will be saying, y'all didn't talk about the prime bows the whole time. It happens every time, but we did for the first little bit.
Just put prime bow talk and
more.
And more.
Yeah. I have to be careful. People will go crazy on me. We still hadn't shot the new Matthews phase bows, phase 4, whatever. So hopefully, usually a week or two after they release, people start bringing them in, needing stuff done. So
I did see where Stanley sent me a screenshot of a computer screen where a bearing blew out on the guy in the shop.
Oof.
On the phase. I don't know which one it was. It
was weird because, like, about 2 years ago, a lot of the Matthews bearings started having trouble. And I've heard various things about the screws were too tight, pulling the axles together, and this, that, and the other. And that could be, we're not a Matthews dealer.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, because I don't know how many messages people want Matthews bows, and I'm like, I can't help you there, buddy. But I don't know what the cause is or was, but we've seen it in here a couple times.
Yeah.
People's clicking and doing all this stuff straight from the factory. So I don't know.
I heard they had a bad batch of bearings get out, is what I had heard. I can't 100% confirm that, but I heard
honestly,
it was bad bearings.
Somebody had posted a link somewhere, maybe in a Facebook group, to the exact bearing that would replace it, and I never did. But I actually meant to get a few just so we could fix ones that people brought in, but I never did. But it was like an unusual problem that we've seen a good bit of that you normally don't. So we'll see. But anyway, y'all, thank y'all for watching.
Yep.
And we'll see y'all here in the next week or so.
See y'all.